Marcus Chen stood in the rain outside the house he'd paid for, watching through the window as his ex-wife Rebecca laughed with her new boyfriend, the same boyfriend she'd left him for 6 months ago. His daughter Emma's toys were still scattered across the living room floor, but he wouldn't be allowed inside to kiss her goodnight. Not anymore. Rebecca had made sure of that. "You're nothing," she'd said during the divorce proceedings, her designer heels clicking against the marble floor of the courthouse. "A struggling contractor who can barely keep the lights on. Emma deserves better. I deserve better." The judge had sided with her, full custody, citing Marcus's unstable work schedule and financial uncertainty. He got every other weekend and Wednesday evenings. His heart had shattered into pieces so small he wasn't sure he'd ever find them all. What Rebecca didn't know, what nobody knew, was that Marcus Chen wasn't struggling at all. He was the silent founder and majority shareholder of Nexatech Solutions, a software empire worth over $200 million that he'd built line by line, night after night, in the garage she'd mocked him for spending so much time in. He'd kept it hidden, kept living modestly, because he'd grown up poor and never wanted wealth to change him or the people he loved. He'd wanted to protect his family from the parasites that money attracted. The irony was suffocating. If you believe in second chances, in the power of perseverance, and in the quiet strength of those who never give up, please take a moment to like this video. Leave a comment about a time you overcame adversity. Share this story with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means everything and helps us bring more inspiring stories to the world. Marcus wiped the rain from his face and walked back to his car, a modest 10-year-old Honda Civic that had seen better days. He could have driven a Ferrari, lived in a mansion, but that wasn't who he was. He'd rather invest in scholarships for underprivileged kids, fund medical research, and support homeless shelters anonymously. The money had never been about him. The next morning, Marcus picked Emma up for their Wednesday visit. At 7 years old, she was his entire universe, bright-eyed, curious, with the same gentle spirit he tried to cultivate in himself. She bounced into his arms wearing the handmade bracelet he'd given her, and for a few hours the world felt right again. "Daddy, why don't you live with us anymore?" she asked over pancakes at their favorite diner. Marcus's throat tightened. "Sometimes grown-ups need to live separately, sweetheart. But that doesn't mean I love you any less. You're my whole heart." Emma nodded, though confusion clouded her eyes. "Mommy says you're poor and that Mr. Derek is going to give us a better life." Each word was a knife. Marcus forced a smile. "What matters is that you're loved, Emma. Remember that, okay? Real wealth isn't about money. It's about how you treat people." 3 months later, Marcus received a call that changed everything. Rebecca had been in a severe car accident. Derek had been driving drunk. She was in critical condition, and Emma had been in the car too. Marcus's blood turned to ice. He raced to the hospital, where he found Emma physically unharmed but emotionally traumatized, clutching a nurse's hand. When she saw him, she broke free and ran into his arms, sobbing, "Daddy, Mommy's hurt really bad." Marcus held her tight, his own tears falling. "I'm here, baby. I'm here." Rebecca's injuries were catastrophic. The doctors explained she'd need multiple surgeries, extensive rehabilitation, and round-the-clock care for months, possibly years. The cost would be astronomical, easily over $2 million. Her insurance would cover a fraction. Derek had fled the scene and disappeared, leaving her with nothing but medical bills and broken promises. Rebecca's mother approached Marcus in the hospital hallway, her eyes red from crying. "I know what she did to you," she whispered. "I know how she treated you, what she said. You have every right to walk away. But please." Emma needs her mother. And despite everything, Rebecca is still a human being. Marcus looked through the window at Rebecca's broken body, tubes and wires keeping her alive. He thought about revenge, about justice, about letting her feel the helplessness she'd inflicted on him. The old wound in his chest throbbed. But then he looked down at Emma holding his hand, and he knew there was only one choice. "I'll take care of it," he said quietly, "all of it." Over the next week, Marcus did something remarkable. He revealed his true identity, not for recognition, not for revenge, but because it was necessary. He paid for the best surgeons in the country, specialists who flew in from around the world. He covered every medical bill without hesitation. He arranged for private rehabilitation and long-term care. He even hired a team to help Rebecca's mother, who was elderly, couldn't manage alone. The hospital staff were stunned when they discovered who he really was. News spread quickly. The man everyone had dismissed was actually one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the state, someone who'd quietly donated millions to charities, built schools in underprivileged neighborhoods, and changed countless lives without ever seeking credit. When Rebecca finally regained consciousness 3 weeks later, weak but stable, her mother told her everything. The color drained from Rebecca's face as the truth settled over her like a heavy blanket of shame and regret. "Why?" she whispered when Marcus visited with Emma. "After everything I did to you, why would you help me?" Marcus pulled up a chair, his expression calm but his eyes holding depths of pain she'd never noticed before. "Because Emma needs her mother," he said simply. "And because I believe people are worth more than their worst moments. You broke my heart, Rebecca. You tried to break my spirit, but you didn't succeed because I chose not to let bitterness define me." Tears streamed down Rebecca's face. "I was so blind, so cruel. I thought Derek's flashy lifestyle meant success, that your humility meant weakness. I destroyed our family for nothing." "You didn't destroy Emma," Marcus said firmly, "and that's what matters now. We're going to co-parent, really co-parent, so she grows up knowing she's loved by both of us. But Rebecca, I need you to understand something. Emma is learning about life from watching us. I want her to learn that kindness isn't weakness, that integrity matters more than image, that you measure a person by their character, not their bank account." Over the following months, Rebecca's recovery was slow and painful, but Marcus was there every step of the way, not as a husband, not even as a friend, but as Emma's father and as a human being who chose compassion over cruelty. He never lorded his wealth over her. He never humiliated her or made her feel small, though he would have been justified. Instead, he focused on helping her heal and ensuring Emma had both parents in her life. The custody arrangement was quietly renegotiated. Marcus didn't fight for revenge or try to take Emma away completely. Instead, they established a fair, loving system that put their daughter first. Rebecca's perspective had fundamentally changed. She'd learned what true character looked like through the very man she discarded. One afternoon, Marcus sat with Emma in the park, pushing her on the swings as autumn leaves danced around them. She looked back at him with those wise, beautiful eyes and asked, "Daddy, why are you so nice to Mommy even though she was mean to you?" Marcus stopped the swing and knelt down to her level. "Because, sweetheart, being kind when it's easy doesn't take much courage. The real test of who we are comes when we choose kindness even when it's hard, even when we're hurt, even when we have every reason not to. I want you to grow up understanding that revenge might feel good for a moment, but compassion, that lasts forever. That changes the world." Emma hugged him tightly. "I love you, Daddy. I love you too, baby. More than all the money in the world." Marcus Chen never remarried. He continued running his empire quietly, using his resources to lift others up rather than elevate himself. Rebecca eventually rebuilt her life, forever grateful and forever changed by the grace she'd been shown when she deserved it least. And Emma grew up understanding that true wealth has nothing to do with dollar signs. It's measured in integrity, compassion, and the courage to choose love over bitterness. Years later, when Emma was graduating from college, she gave a speech about the most influential person in her life. She didn't talk about success or money. She talked about a man who'd been thrown away like garbage but responded with quiet dignity and boundless love. She talked about her father, who'd shown her that being a good human being is the greatest achievement of all. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness and forgiveness can triumph over pain and betrayal, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and leave a comment telling us about someone in your life who showed you extraordinary grace. Subscribe to our channel to continue this journey of hope and humanity together. Your engagement helps us reach more people who need these reminders that goodness still exists in the world. Thank you for being part of this community.